Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Mind Hiking Podcast episode. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate your time. Today, I got a very special episode, a very patriotic episode for this 4th of July week. So thank you for tuning in. This week, I have the pleasure of sitting down with an active duty United States Marine. Please welcome Cpl Danny Lanza. And let's dive right into this. Hey everyone, it's Brody Frye, and here we dive deep into difficult questions. We'll map out thoughts, theories, and crazy ideas for the love of knowledge and growth. So, how do we answer some of the mind's toughest questions? This is the Mind Hiking Podcast. All right, everyone. Danny Lanza. First of all, I just want to say, active U.S. Marine, it's an honor to have you on the podcast. This is so exciting. I was looking forward to this one for a long time. I want to start off just by saying, God bless. I salute you. Thank you so much for your time and for your service to the American country. I really appreciate you, and thanks for being on the Mind Hiking Podcast. Welcome.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, man. I've seen that you've been doing this. It's good to finally be on it. And,
yeah.
It's kind of cool. So I'm sure, I don't know if you've had anyone military on before, but it'll be cool to answer any questions you have and kind of give the audience some insight on what it's like being active duty, especially in the Marine Corps, you know?
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm super excited. You are the first active duty, actually first any service at all on the podcast. So I'm super excited for that. Especially for the listeners, I want to listeners and for like a refresher for me. I kind of want to let's start with the basics. So as far as the military goes, you got Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and then U.S. Coast Guard, and then you got Space Force too, right?
Yeah, Space Force got thrown in there or something like that.
So you are Marines.
Yeah.
What's your rank and how does that?
So currently I'm a corporal. I'm an E4. I am enlisted, which means, I didn't go to college, first of all. But if you do go to college, you can commission and become an officer. That's how you hear about like generals and all that. But that's way down their line of work in their career path. But I'm enlisted, which means, even if I did have a college degree, I could be enlisted. But I just chose the enlisted route because I think it's the most authentic experience you can get in the military. And on top of that, I don't know. It's just like, I think I wanted to do it because I come from a military family. I have three out of my 4 older brothers served in the military, Navy, Army, and Marines.
Okay, wow.
And so that kind of inspired me to kind of go the enlisted route as well. You know, it's just 4-year contract, 4 and out. You know, if something pops off or, something changes in my career, I'm maybe re-enlist. But as of right now, I'm going to get out in 18 months. But yeah, dude, I just really like it. I like the culture. I like... I like being in an environment of people that are like-minded. You know, like there's a lot of motivation in the Marine Corps, people around you, people that want to get better, people that want to do things that are bigger than them, be part of an organization that's bigger than them. Because at the end of the day, like we have to do that. Like America relies on people like us to be ready, stay ready, and win our country's wars. So that way we don't turn into a country that all of a sudden falls, and crumbles.
Absolutely.
So that's why we do what we do,
Right. No, that's awesome. You kind of answered a lot of my questions there right off the bat, but that's awesome. I did want to ask, so when did you enlist? Because you kind of enlisted. Typically, it's like right out of high school, 18 years old, but you kind of waited there. What?
I did wait. So I was 23 years old at the time. I'll never forget it. So my birthday was October 3rd. October 10th, I went to my recruiter. I called him up for the first time. I said, hey, I think I want to be a Marine. Let's find a time and talk about this. And so we sat down and I said, look, man, I don't want to waste your time. Like, I know you're going to try and sell me on different jobs in the Marine Corps. Just to make it clear, I'm an 0311. I'm a rifleman, a grunt. Mm-hmm. Like, main effort of the Marine Corps, it's like when you hear the word, the name Marine, that's probably what most people think of, carry rifle, kick doors, all that.
Yeah.
So when I called up my recruiter, I said, hey, man, like, I want to be a grunt. That's all I want to do. No one in my family's ever been a grunt. And, like, should something pop off, like, I want to be one of the people that responds, like...
Yeah, spearheading.
Like, yeah, you can be a Marine, and, like, you can be admin, you can be motor T, you could be comms, you could do all that, and that's perfectly okay if that's what you want to do. But for me, I just wanted to be at the front of the pack, and like I told my recruiter, I said, look, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want my time wasted. Like, if you can give me that contract, I'll ship. And so that was October 13th, and a couple weeks later, he got me a contract, and next thing you know, January of 2021, I shipped off to San Diego to go to boot camp.
Wow, that's a big decision. I know you were kind of like doing starting your business thing and stuff too before you enlisted, and I just kind of want to ask, like, where was that mindset shift? Like, what really brought you to that decision?
Yeah, dude, it wasn't an easy decision by any means, but you know, I had my business, ran with a mutual friend, you know who it is. Yep. And you know, it's kind of coming to the point to like walk away from that, and I always wanted to serve in some sort of way. Like, you know, at 18 years old, I made a decision that I wasn't gonna join the military in any way. Like, it's something I always thought I would do, like, ever since middle school. Like, that's all I would research was like different military things. You know, everyone thought I was like, my mom was like, oh, you're gonna be in the military one day. I'm like, well, yeah, whatever. Like, we'll see. And then like high school, like things kind of change. You know, you grow and you learn. And and I, dude, like at 18 years old, I made a decision I wasn't gonna serve, and I was okay with it. I was comfortable with it. And then as time went on, like the thoughts kept like creeping up. You know, like they kept coming up, and I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like I want to do business. I want to do business stuff. Like, I need you to like stay out of my head. Like, you know, like I'd see like more movies and I'd be like, damn, bro. Like, you know, like that's a cool job. Like, and like on top of it too, just love for country. You know, I wanted to do all that. And then finally, you know, it came time to walk away from the business. And I wasn't at a crossroad of like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was like, I think now's the perfect time. You know, like I'm a little bit more mature than I was at 18, being at 23 at the time. And, you know, like, I think I just mentally needed to be set up for it. And like, cause it is a hard decision, you know, like you're signing a contract, like you can sign a contract for a phone bill or like a gym membership and like, you know, like whatever you're paying monthly, but like, this is a contract on your life, you know, like, like you in a way you are giving up some of your freedoms to serve your country, but you do it so other people can be free. Yeah. And it is a hard decision. It is not easy, but it is a selfless decision, and you do it for love of country, and you do it. Obviously there's benefits with it, but at the end of the day, like, I don't really care about the benefits. I care about the brothers to my left and my right that I serve with, you know, like that are like in my platoon or even in my company or my unit. So it's really like, it was a really hard decision to make. Yeah. But cause like I knew that, like, cause I was worried if I was going to hate it, you know, like what if I hated this so much, like I can't get out of it, you know, I got to go 4 years. But at the same time, you know, like having it been 23, and you look back at 4 years previous, 4 years goes by quick. Yeah. Like, no matter what you're doing, like, time just seems to fly by, especially, like, towards, like, after high school time. So I'm like, whatever, man. I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to send it. And I'm going to see where this takes me. But it turns out, you know, I do like it. Yeah. I don't necessarily love it. You know, it's a difficult job. It's a demanding job. It, you know, it takes its toll on you, but at the same time, like when you do remember like why you did it, like that's what motivates you to keep going. Yeah, the passion behind it, the bigger picture thing. That's super inspiring. That's awesome. You've always been so patriotic, and we went to high school together, middle school too, and elementary school, bro. Yeah. We went all the way, bro. Yeah. We went through this whole life together, man. Yeah, no, God bless you. That's awesome. Thank you, brother. So. Could you talk to me about your experiences? Like, was it what you expected when you signed up? I'm sure you had some like images in your head of what you were gonna, like, what to expect kind of thing, but like it's tough to say like whether or not you disliked it or liked it, but like general picture, like, was it what you expected? It was, for the most part, yes, but there was a lot of things that I could not have seen coming. So like, for example, like my brother who was in the Marines, he did comms, but he wanted to be a grunt. He wanted to do what I do when he shipped way back in the day, but they kept pushing his contract back. So he said, I just want to go now. So I'm going to ship open contract. So that's what he did. And then, you know, when you ship open contract, you graduate boot camp, you go to like either MCT or ITB, which I'll get into a little bit later. And then you go to your schoolhouse. So they chose a job for him, you know? Yep. Whereas like I had mentioned earlier, I told my recruiter, I just want to be a grunt and that's it. So I joined, and then, you know, went to become a grunt, and I don't know, dude, like, sorry, can you repeat the question just one more time? I'm sorry. Yeah, no, you're totally fine. No, I just basically just wanted to know, like,
was this kind of what you expected?
Oh, like yeah. What I expected. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, you're good.
My bad. Dude.
You're totally
Sorry.
fine.
I get a little sidetracked sometimes.
Totally fine. No, I do too. I get lost.
So in terms of what I expected, yeah, like I was saying, yes and no. So when I came with a lot of knowledge. You know, I knew that like, you know, to be on like full front, like this job, like it has a lot of suck. You know, like there's a saying in the Marine Corps, like embrace the suck.
Yeah.
And like you really learn to do that, especially being a grunt. You know, so like after you go to boot camp, you go to SOI, which is School of Infantry, and you either go to MCT or ITB. So MCT is Marine Combat Training. So that's what, like in the Marine Corps, we have a term called POGs, like personnel other than grunts. So anyone that's not infantry goes to MCT. Anyone that is infantry goes to ITB. So when you go to your schoolhouse, that's when you're finally like doing your job, right?
Yep.
And like that's when you get a real taste of like what your job is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whew, you know, like we're hiking.
Yeah.
Like we have 60 pounds on my back and I'm hiking. You know,
yeah. What was that like? What was like the weather like and everything? Like,
dude, so I'm
sure it was brutal.
Yeah. So I'm fortunate enough to be stationed in Camp Pendleton, California. So SoCal. Okay. I've been there my whole career since boot camp in San Diego. But yeah, like you go through your schoolhouse and that's when you really get a taste of what your job is.
Yep.
And it has a lot of ups and downs, you know, like especially being a grunt, you know, like you're combat ready. So like you need to put your body through things that to prepare yourself for actual combat, you know.
Yep.
Like I haven't been in combat obviously, but you prepare your body for those situations so that God forbid you're in that situation, like you can outperform what you have trained.
Right.
Because you need to do things that suck, things that are shitty. So that way, when it comes time to be in a situation that like you have to defend this country and everything we stand for, like the only things like in front of you that you haven't been able to train for is mental, because you can't train that until you're there.
Yep.
And like to kind of go previous back to what we were talking about originally, which was everything, like, was it what I expected? And I said mostly yes, but like the physical aspect of it, like I've been told it was gonna suck, you know, like it's gonna suck. Like whether you love it or hate it, it'll suck. You know, your body's gonna go through this toll. You're gonna be doing things that like you've never done before. You know, like perfect example. I went up to 29 Palms for our last workout before the deployment, and so we did range 400. You know, anyone in the Marine Corps, especially West Coast, like knows what range 400 is. Anyone who's in the infantry knows what range 400 is. It's a massive range, and you know it's in the middle of the desert in 29 Palms, California. Yeah. And you know, your full kit, so you got your flak on, you got your shooting belt, you got your Kevlar on, you're in full camis, like it's like 108 degrees out, bro. Like you're out there and like you're running, bro. You're running. You got your rifle on you too. You got a full loadout of ammo, and like some dudes have grenades, some dudes have rockets on them. Like,
yeah, that's like, wild. Cause like the little experience I have with just carrying a firearm is just like going hunting and stuff, and just like carrying a shotgun out in the field for a couple hours. Like that thing gets fucking heavy alone.
It does,
like
man.
I can't imagine what a pack feels like on top of all that shit. Like,
dude, it's
and in the heat too.
Yeah, dude, it's it's brutal, man. And like, but you know, you got your water source on you, so you got water, but you know, it's all about preparation. You know, like when you know you're going to be in a situation where it's super hot out, you're not going to just like, you know, gaff it off. Like you're going to hydrate. Like, you know, we're out in the field for like, you know, days, weeks at a time before we do these things. So like we're able to like prep our bodies, you know, you're in the heat. It sucks no matter what.
Yep.
But like you're hydrating, you know, you're chugging water, and on top of it too, you got to keep eating, keep your calories up, especially like we went up to Bridgeport, California as well. So like we were doing mountain training, and it was fall time, but it ended up snowing on us. And like when you're in a cold environment, you know, like a lot of times you don't eat, you know, because your body's using calories to keep you warm, and like you're cold, you're shivering, and like you don't want to move around a lot, but you got to like open up your pack, you got to pull out food, and like you have to consume food, but like no matter what environment, you have to keep like drinking water, you know. It's super important. And like, yeah, dude, like there's a lot of suck in it, but you know, I love it, and it's like someone's got to do it. Yeah,
and I'm sure it's cool to know that you got your brothers in arms around you too, supporting you the whole way too. I'm sure like mentally that helps knowing.
Oh, dude, like let me tell you, man, like when you do something that sucks that bad. So like for example, like we do a lot of hiking, you know, like 5 miles, 9 miles, 6 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles, 20 miles is like the farthest we'll hike.
They're
like, and it sucks, man. So like when I was in ITB, anyone who's been on Camp Pendleton and SOI knows what Recon Ridge is. Bro, Recon Ridge is like, there's like this like in front of all the barracks of SOI, which is MCT and ITB, there's like this like mountain range. It's like called the Alpha Shelf. You train up there.
Yep.
But above the Alpha Shelf is Recon Ridge, and it's named after Recon. Apparently, they're the only ones that trained up there.
Yep.
It's basically this like fire break up this mountain that goes up and down and up and down. And And one night in ITB, our instructor's like, yep, we're hiking it, and we're like, no, we're not. Like, we're not going up there. Like, we're gonna go up one fire break and get absolutely dog shit slayed, and we're gonna walk back down. So we go up there, and dude, oh my god, I got a 240 on my back, a machine gun, bro. Fucking, I'm hiking up there. We're passing things around, dude, trying to carry each other's weight, help each other out. And like we get up there, and I'm like, all right, dude. Like we sit down, we are exhausted. This is the first the first hump of it, man.
Yep.
And it was like at that time, I think it was I want to say like 11:30 at night at the absolute earliest.
Yep.
And this is after we did like a defense. Like we were in the defense before this, so like. All day we were doing stuff, and now it's 11:30 at night. We walk up this fire break. So I'm like, all right, dude. Like we're gonna turn around. Like one of them, when we got out there, one of the instructors is like, all right, we got a few more ahead of us. Like, just get your water in, whatever. I'm like, whatever, dude. Sure, dick. Like we're about to hike back down. No, we picked our packs up. We're going the way opposite of what I was thinking. I'm like, dog, there is no way. So we're going, and at this point, dude, like we have a little saying called "in the black," which is like. You're down bad, bro. Like it's a lot of times it's momentarily. Like you see a man just like zone out and just like lose himself in his thoughts. That's what going in the black is. So we're going over this, dude. I got a 240 on my back. My buddy's got my A bag. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing right now? And we just kept going, bro. And I'm like, this is tough. Like, but what got me through it is going off what you said is having my buddies to my left and right that did that with me, bro. Like. Because, like, no matter what you do in those situations, like, your body's going through pain. Like, it sucks. You're suffering. But at the same time, you know the dude to your left and right feels the same way. Whether they show it or not. Some people, like, you know, they're a little bit weaker. You know, they show it. They're like, I can't do this. Like, this sucks. But then you have the dudes that, like, you're like, bro, does this dude even feel anything, bro? Like, does he have emotions? Like, does he got a beating heart? Like, is he a robot? Like, but you know deep down that they feel the same pain in their body that you feel.
Right.
And, like... That's kind of what gets you through it. And then when you finally drop pack for like rather it be 5-10 minutes, and you hydrate, maybe get a little snack in, and you're talking to each other, and you're just like, man, this sucks.
No, I can only imagine. And like again, I'm trying to bring in like the little experience that I have compared to you, but like just being on the farm and just like busting ass sunrise sunset, and like knowing that I got my buddies, my team behind me, and they're going through the whole thing, same thing as I am. Like, I know it sucks. I want to quit, but I got my buddies with me, and it's like they're feeling this too. And you know, that's kind of the only way that I can compare to that experience. But yeah, that's it's a different feeling knowing that you're not alone. So that I'm sure that definitely helps.
Oh, brother, it helps so much. Like, especially like, you know, I just came off a 7-month deployment, and like, you know, like. For us being grunts on deployment, you know, you're on a ship, and you know your day-to-day life is a little bit different than when you're back on base preparing for this deployment. So like, you know, like you have chow hours where you can go to chow, like whether it's like breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and then on top of it, you know, there's like a gym. There's a gym you can go to. The gym's always packed because everyone wants to work out. So you know, you got to change
just to kill
like,
time.
Yeah, you gotta kill time, bro. Like, dude, it sucks, man. But we had like movies going around, like everyone was sharing everything, bro. Like I was borrowing some books from buddies, but yeah, dude, like movies got us through it, and just like chow times, and like just going to the gym.
You've always been a big reader too, right?
Yeah, dude, I love reading books, bro. Like I kind of fell off a little bit from like, you know, like post high school to like up to now. I've fallen out a little bit, but I still do read. I read on deployment a little bit here and there, not as much as I would have liked, but I'm a huge fan of reading because I think you can learn like literally almost anything you want, especially firsthand experiences, like regardless, like like business, like life, like parenting, like school, like whatever it is you want to learn, you can learn from another person's perspective, like through reading.
No, it's amazing. It's incredible. I love reading, and I remember you always used to post about them, like your latest books you'd read.
I did. I would post it on the story.
It's awesome. And as far as like those long hikes go, you would pack like strategically for what hike you're going on, right? So like depending on the weather and stuff, because you always wanted to pack like the minimum weight possible, but like kind of pack it to cater towards what like the weather was like, or what the mission you were doing was like. So
the way like for me, like whenever I have to pack anything, right? So like let's say they're like, all right, we're going to the field, we're gonna be shooting this range, we're gonna be out there for a week. I'm like, all right, like usually we'll have an idea of the weather because someone will always bring up weather always because like there's always people that are like, yo, it's gonna rain, like, you don't say the R word, man, it's gonna rain on us, like, yo, we're in SoCal, it doesn't rain there much, like, dude, we can't be out there. And so like we'll kind of look at the weather a little bit, kind of prep for it personally, like, so like we have like a Gore-Tex top and bottom, which is the Marpat camis, but it's like like repellent of rain and water, but after a while it does soak through, but it is what it is. But like if I'm out in the field and I know weather's going to be a lot worse than what I would like, to add more of the suck on top, dude, I just like the most I'll bring is like my Gore-Tex top and bottom to keep me dry, and then maybe some waterproofing bags to keep my stuff dry. But man, if I'm hiking or I'm on a range and it's raining, bro, I'm just going to be in my camis, bro. I'm just going to suck it up and I'm just going to keep going because, like, it'll cool you down, Yeah. Like, when you're hiking, man, your body gets really warm. And then when you're on ranges, like, it gets, you're just, like, your adrenaline's up. Like, you're moving a lot. You're moving a lot more than you ever have with a lot of weight on you. And, like, it sucks. You first start moving, you're like, dude, what am I doing? But then, like, as time goes on, you learn to adapt to it. But yeah, man, when I prepare for anything weather-wise, like, I try and keep it simple, like, I'll just accept it, like, if it, like, because it's SoCal, it doesn't rain too much. Like, if I was in like Florida or Lejeune, out in like Camp Lejeune, bro, yeah, man, it rains there, man. And it gets cold too. When you're in the field, man, you got to pack warming layers, like, you got to prepare for that.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I know you talked about how you were like heart set on being a grunt, first one in your family too. But I kind of want to take it a little back to there, but like with all these branches and like, I'm sure there's similar jobs in each branch. Like, why Marines? Why did you ever consider any other branch, or did you know the Marines?
If you had asked me this question in middle school, any branch would have been an open branch for me to go into. At the time of joining, the only option for me was the Marine Corps, and that's for a few reasons. So, one, the Marine Corps, what it does a lot differently than other branches is it holds its traditions, its customs, its courtesies on a pedestal, and it will not let those go. And I love that, like the moment you forget about your history or the things that you represent is the moment your organization starts to change. And like disregard of like everything going on in the world right now, like the military cannot change. The military cannot soften up. And that is a huge reason why I joined the Marine Corps, is because, like, you see a lot of movies or videos and like, like it doesn't matter if it's like Army, Air Force, Navy, but the moment you see Marines, they're Marines,
right?
Like they stand out. Question. They have their uniforms, the dress blues, their service alphas. Like, you see these uniforms,
absolute respect,
and you see the way they carry themselves, and it's different, bro. Like you see that as a civilian, and you're just like, bro, what is it? So I'm like, for me, it wasn't an option. Like, I think the Marines, like, obviously being one now, like, we carry ourselves differently. We have a lot of pride. We're the smallest branch, and like one thing I've always said since ITB is, you can give us the least amount of resources, but we will go the farthest. Because Marines are some angry sons of bitches. We suffer so much in training. When it comes to equipment, we suffer so much. So when it comes time to actually do the thing and win wars for this country, we will do it. And like, I have all respect for other branches. I just deployed with the Navy on a Navy vessel, and I have buddies that are in the Army, and like, I've met soldiers and airmen and all that, and like, I respect what they do. But at the end of the day, like, when it comes to your pride aspect, like, of course I'm gonna favor the Marines, and it's like, it's significant, like even if I did put the pride down, the Marines is the best branch in terms of like pride and like upholding traditions, which is extremely important. You have to remember your history, you have to remember where you came from.
Exactly. So you mentioned just like suffering. Did you ever have any, like, I know you had like severe training, obviously, but did you ever have any injuries during deployment or in boot camp?
Yeah, I've definitely had some injuries. Like, you're moving a lot of weight, you're moving around a lot, your body takes a toll. On this last deployment, I actually we were in the field and I rolled my ankle in Thailand.
Oh yeah.
And I've never rolled my ankle like that, bro. Like, the dude next to me So I took a step forward and my ankle just like collapsed. You know, it kind of happens a lot. The more you hike with a lot of weight, like,
oh yeah,
your ankles become weak. They roll more often. But like I had this roll and bro, I heard a crack and I felt it. And I was like, yo. And like, I fell to the ground and my buddy next to me was like, bro, I heard that. I'm like, you heard that? Like, I'm like, bro, I was so scared. I was like, this shit's broken, bro. I'm like, fuck. So I go to my corpsman and I'm like, Doc, I need you to look at this right now. Like this shit hurts. And then, like, I'm like struggling to take my boot off and he comes over, he's looking at it. And like, I'm just looking at his face, you know, he's like feeling around, like, like moving around, kind of seeing my facial reactions. I'm just looking at his eyes and like, I'm like, if it's broken, I'll know. I'll just be able to read his face. But like, no, I guess I just like sprained it. But like, it still sucked because I still like, you know, like there was still work to be done. Not a lot, but still had to move things around and walk on it, and it sucked. But luckily, that was like it was like our second to last day in the field that happened.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so you're pretty much wrapping it up there.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to go through a whole hike with a snapped ankle. It wasn't broken though. You're good.
No, it was just sprained. It healed. It's actually still healing.
Dude, sometimes sprains are worse than breaks. They fucking hurt.
Yeah, because you're like kind of capable of still pushing, but you shouldn't, but you do.
Right.
And it just keeps hurting.
Yep.
And like, I mean, yeah, like I feel pains in my body. It's like, it's not like as bad as some people might make it sound, but like, yeah, my knees are a little weaker for sure. My ankles are weaker, but that's just like, that's part of the job, you know, like the human body in general is not designed to do a lot of the things that we do.
Yep.
But it doesn't, that's irrelevant to our mission, you know?
Right.
Like we have to be mission ready.
Yep.
We have to be ready for the nation. So like you put those things aside and like you have to be the one.
Yep. Absolutely. That's super inspiring. So I also wanted to talk conflicts. Do you ever have, like, whether it be in boot camp or whatever, conflicts with any of your brothers in arms or anybody above you in ranks, or even notice like others? Were you involved in any sort of inner conflicts? Absolutely.
There's always going to be conflict, you know, like.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Just like a bunch of guys, like you said, mean, angry motherfuckers, just in tight quarters, nonstop.
There is a lot of alpha mindset in the military, but there needs to be. You know, like whether you're alpha or not, or whatever, whether you believe in that shit or like you don't care about it, like there needs to be someone that takes charge and kind of runs the show, you know. And there's a lot of people that try, and it's really annoying. And you see people like, bro, there's no way you're trying to act hard right now. Like, like let's go to the mats. I'll roll with you, and like, dude, you will tap. Like,
it's like a bunch of like you take America and then you skim off the top alphas of America, and then you just throw them all into what you call the Marines. And now these top alphas are just trying to fight it out to see who's the top of the top. So I'm sure there's crazy conflict.
But like there definitely is a lot of conflict, you know. Like I think about people I've been with throughout my career, and like there's a lot of people that like have really bothered me, you know. Like they don't pull their weight, you know. Like you end up pulling their weight, or like you know, like it's time to go get stuff done, and they want to go skate, they want to go like hide out in their barracks room and not get stuff done. So now you got to do extra work so that it can get done, and it just pisses you off, you know. There's always going to be conflict, but at the end of the day, I have been lucky enough to at least not have met or dealt with anyone that has been super conflictive in any way to where like I still wouldn't go to war with them, you know. Like there's people like I don't really care for too much, but it doesn't change the fact that like I would go to war with them, you know. Like
that's good. Speaking of just like being a Marine, you guys when you first got here, you slammed that beer pretty quick, and I'm like trying to keep up, and you are out. So actually, I like to talk on the podcast about like what we're drinking too. So I got my Michelob Ultra again. What are you drinking over there?
I'm drinking Modelo,
and it is currently empty. So we're gonna take a quick intermission, and we're gonna get you a refill here.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, no problem. All right, guys, we're back. We got his refill. I got my refill, and your sidekick there.
I do. I got another beer and standby. You already know I'm going to drink them both.
Yeah, I was like, okay, here's your refill. And then I was like, well, hang on a second here. I'll just bring the bottle opener and just give you another one. It's like you're going to rip through that one too.
Yeah, man. Marines, you know, like we train hard, but we also play hard, you know, like.
Yeah, what was it like? Yeah, like after work was done, like you guys mess around a lot?
Dude, we have a lot of fun. I'll talk about the weekends more though, because you know on weekdays we like whether we're training or not, and we're cut at the end of the day, and like we're off. like not everyone's like drinking all the time,
right?
You don't want to think that, but
we know you work hard, so like how is that play like?
Oh, dude, you just like you come out of the field, you're out there for like a week or two, whatever, however long you're out there, and like you just like you start to like miss your comforts that you regularly have. So like the weekend comes, you're like, oh man, I got to go out. Like being at Camp Pendleton, I usually go down to San Diego. So I like, that's usually where I end up, and I go out there with some buddies, and like we just have a good time, like hit up some clubs, bars, like get some drinks in us and just dance and just get away from base for a little bit, just to feel human again, like the job is demanding, so like you got to have fun,
right?
Like there's people that sit in their rooms and they'll play like video games all weekend, and like I mean, to each their own. If that's what gets them through it, like for sure do it, but like for me, I'm a social butterfly. I gotta talk to people. I gotta laugh and
remember you're human.
Yeah, dude. So like I gotta get out. I gotta go out with the boys and just have a good time and throw back a couple drinks and get back safe.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure it's like mental toll. Like you're saying, it's tough to train the mind, but like going through something so physical, oh shit, neighbor fired up the motorcycle. Sorry. I'm just going to leave that on there. Sorry if you can hear that. I'm not sure if you can pick it up. I was like, is that a fucking plane? But yeah, no, just I'm sure it takes a mental toll on you. And yeah, I can only imagine like everybody's got their own vices and got to get through it. So yeah, crazy stuff. So another question, how was this on, and this is kind of going to be like a secondhand question too, because it's kind of tough. You're going to be speaking for somebody else, but like, how was it on your family and even your friends too? Because I remember like getting together with you on the last time you came home, just like seeing your friends and just how they were like, they didn't want you to enlist, and like they cared about you, and like, was that tough? Did that play into your decision? And
it's hard, man. Like, like when you look at like friends and family, like those are gonna be like some of your biggest supporters that you have. Yeah. And like you gotta keep those relationships, and it's hard when your lifestyle gets a lot busy like it does in the military. Yeah. But like it like like I try and look at it from their perspective, and I know it's not easy. Like whether it's like I've seen a lot. Like I got a buddy. He had a kid on deployment like a month after deploying. Oh, wow. Like he had a daughter he didn't get to meet until he got home 7 months later. So now he's getting home, he's meeting an 8-month-old daughter. Yeah. And like, that's hard, like you just had a kid, you want to meet him, but at the same time, like you got to look from the perspective of like, okay, his wife, like, now she's at home, like raising this child alone while her husband's on deployment. Like that's not easy, like there's so much on both sides, both parties, whatever it is, whether it's friends, like wives, husbands, spouses, whatever the situation is, it's never easy. Especially like a lot of times parents struggle with it too. Like they find out you're deploying, and like they were already worried that you joined. Yeah. And now they're worried that you're deploying because they like like we deployed in like Southeast Asia, so we're like around like China and Taiwan. So parents start to worry. They're like, oh, I hope nothing happens. You try and reassure them like, dude, we're fine. Like it's gonna be fine. Yeah. But like there's just a lot of there's a lot of struggle on both ends for sure. But yeah, I like from like friends and family perspective, I really see like the struggle that comes with it, because like someone that you like love or talk to regularly is like all of a sudden gone. Like they're on boat for like 2 or 3 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks at a time between ports, and like no cell service, like no way of communication, and you're not hearing from them. Like yeah, it sucks,
Yeah, no, and from my perspective too, I was worried, and like my biggest concern was just like the state of the union and where we were going with our future at the time of your deployment, where there was so many questions. I mean, like we didn't know what was going on. That was like basically right around COVID there, and there was a lot of questions. Nobody knew what was happening, so that was my biggest fear for you, is just like, nobody knows what's going on in the world right now, and like I was worried something was going to happen, and that was my biggest concern. So like even your family, like how was that for them? Like are you close with your family?
Yeah, I'm close with my family, and like my dad would always talk to me and be like, bro, like he would always read stuff about China and everything, and like he would talk to me, and like I have a little bit of understanding, because it's like job related, mm-hmm. Like when it comes to like China, Russia, all that shit, like it's not like I'm sitting through briefs all the time, but like I have an understanding. Like I read the news too. Like I see how it would affect me personally, especially being in the Marine Corps. But like my dad will call me and like he'll like start talking about it. He'll like bitch and moan about it. I'm like, dude, like we're fine. You know, like we're good. Like yeah, there's tension. There's always gonna be tension. Like you can try and ease the tension, and like God forbid it breaks out into like a war or something. Like which, you know, you never want. But you know, like we're trained and we're prepared for everything. And like you know, a lot of families like struggle with like, you know, if they have a Marine like that they love and care about. It can be really hard for them, you know, like especially when they go on a deployment. Because like when you're like in the Marine Corps, when you're in deployment, like you're basically like 911 of the world. You know, if something does pop off, you are the ones that go. Yeah. Like if your unit is training for a deployment, like you might get called on, but like if you are on a deployment, you are getting called on. Yeah. Depending on like where it is in the world and like what region you're in. So like it's like a lot of families like they know that, you know, like their Marines will tell them that, and like it's like hard for them to process a little bit because, you know, they do worry, you know, they do see these things, like they'll read stories of like, you know, like the war games are playing out in like South China Sea, like where like China does stuff to us, we do stuff to them, or like Russia playing stuff like that. And like people see that and then they start to worry. Yeah, no, it's definitely a freaky time. Like you said, there's always going to be tension. There always is tension. You want to talk about where you've gone, like so on deployment, like where have you traveled? What parts of the world have you seen? So I'm gonna give you the laundry list and then we can break it down if you want.
Please go.
We left San Diego, then we went to Hawaii, and then we went to Indonesia, and then Singapore, and then Sri Lanka, back to Singapore, and then to Thailand, and then to Korea, and then to the Philippines, and then Guam, back to Hawaii, back to San Diego. Okay, so that is the laundry list version.
Yeah, what was the time frame on that? Like how long was that whole thing?
That was a 7-month deployment. I was with the 13th MEU.
So this was the most recent deployment, right?
Yes, this is the only deployment I've been on. This is my first international travel ever. I was on a ship. I was on the USS Anchorage, and yeah, dude, we left, and obviously nothing crazy happened. I'm back. Like, didn't get called on. At the end, we did my MEU did get called on to go do humanitarian aid in Guam for the hurricane they had, but there was already ships in 7th Fleet that had responded to that, so we didn't end up going. So we ended up coming home. But at the time, we were kind of happy about it because, you know, everyone always wants chest candy in the military, you know, an extra ribbon or medal. But we were, you know, coming off the end of a 7-month deployment, so close to home. Like, we were in Hawaii at that time. Like, we just wanted to come home and see our families. Like, it's rough, man. It's rough living on ship. Yeah. It's not, like, the worst thing in the world, for sure. But it's, like, it takes its toll on you, especially because, you know, like, your days start to blend because you do the same thing every single day. Between ports. But yeah, dude, deployment was like super cool. It was my first international travel I've ever done in my life. And like, dude, just like, you know, like one of the cool things about when you're on a boat is like, you don't just like port in like the biggest city in the country, you know, like you port wherever, you know, like, you know, that's the whole Navy thing. I honestly don't really understand it, but like they port wherever they need to for their needs and like our needs. And, you know, it's like, we're not going to like the capital of every single country that we go to. And so when you get to see like other parts of the country that like most or some people don't get to see, you're like, damn, bro, like this is an authentic experience, you know? Like that's awesome. You get to see like how the people that live here like really are. Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, not the touristy side of things.
Yeah, you know, the part that they want you to see. Yeah, you get to like really see how the country is, and it's like very fascinating, and like it honestly just makes you feel very grateful for being in America. And like coming back, bro. Best country on earth.
It's awesome. One question too, like, was there like a language barrier when you were going to these places? Like, how is that? Like,
there was
communication.
There was for sure. So, you know, it depended on what country you were in. Like, I was actually surprised at how many of them like knew English or enough to like get you through, like, you know, like check out at a store, or like, or like ordering food at a restaurant. A lot of times, like, you know, like menus have like pictures of the food, so we would just point when we ordered. But like, believe it or not, the biggest language barrier, I believe, was in South Korea. Yeah, like a lot of signs in most of the countries we went to like had an English version as well. So I was like, okay, cool. Just go this way, you know? Yeah. But in like Korea, they didn't really have that. So I'm like, you know, I'm trying to like Google things, like use Google Maps, look around, and like it was kind of difficult, but we figured it out, you know? Yeah. But yeah, there was definitely some language barriers here and there.
Yeah, that's cool. Any funny stories about that?
No, not on that. Not with the language barriers. Okay. You know, we make do what we had. You know, we use Google Translator. We would just point at things like like we just made it work. You
Okay,
know?
yeah,
like,
that's cool.
Yeah,
just like Marines do.
Yeah, always give us anything, we'll make it work out.
Yeah. What was your favorite place that you went to? What was a cool place?
Number one is a tie between Thailand and Singapore. Thailand was a really cool spot to go. So when we were out there, we actually trained with the Thai.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we did Cobra Gold. That was the training event we did. Super cool.
Mind if I give you a pause there? You sent me a video on Snapchat of a cobra. You want to walk me through that? Was that when this happened? Were you here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you mind walking me through?
Yeah, dude. So in Thailand, you know, like, when we go to these different countries, we learn about how like their military trains and like some of the things they do.
Yeah.
And a lot of these countries are like a jungle environment. So like they'll teach us like their survival techniques. They'll like bring out like different animals, like do some crazy stuff, bro.
Yeah.
And like so like, you know, they're the biggest thing, and you know, is like they'll bring out like a cobra snake, and like like they literally like caught, like, I'm not even kidding, like, bro, like the morning of they went out and caught this thing. So like it's not tamed or anything. Like,
I was terrified when you sent me that video. I'm like watching, waiting for that guy to get fucking bit in the face.
Bro,
I was like
they come out and like they pull it. Actually, before the cobras, bro, they pull out these other snakes, right? They'll show you like some like non-venomous snakes, like some like venomous snakes, whatever. And then like they're walking around with like a mildly venomous snake, right? So if this thing bites you, something could happen. You know, it's gonna do something to your body. It'll coagulate your blood or some shit.
Yep.
And he's walking around just like putting it in your face, and you're like able to touch it. I'm like, bro, this thing's mildly venomous. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And like, so you like learn how to eat like certain foods in the jungle and everything. But with the cobras, obviously everyone's most excited. You know, those things are like dangerous. They're vicious. Like you'll go meet God if you meet a cobra. You know? Yeah. So they got the cobras out there, and they pull them out of these crates, and they're already pissed, bro. They got like these little hooks. They're like pull them out to like show them to us. Yeah. And, like the dudes that are like experts, you know, like what the dude was. He said he got put in the ICU 4 times from getting bit by cobras, and I'm like, why do you keep doing it? Why? Well, you wake up and you want to still play. Like if I got bit once, bro, it's an accident. I wasn't playing with it. If I'm playing with a cobra and it bites me, I'm never playing with another cobra again. This dude just didn't get it. It took like it didn't end. So 4 times, and he's still doing it. So God bless him. But he's pulling out these cobras, and like, bro, Buddy's kissing him on the head. Like, he's like, bro, at one point he like tapped its back, bro. It turned around like, who touched me? I'm like, this dude's like the cobra god, you know, like damn, like I was so impressed, and like it was so cool because like I said, God bless him, because I'm not touching that snake. Like I'll look at it from a distance, but I'm not about to go handle some cobra. That dude, like, he's wiggling his foot in front of its face, its hand, like, and this thing's striking, and like when a cobra is like up, you know, like, and it's ready to strike, you can physically see its body breathing. It's it's like compulsing, and you're like, what the fuck?
It's like ready to go.
Like, bro, that thing, dude. And then like they were like milking it, you know, like where they like, you know, they have a glass jar with like the saran wrap on top, and they like get the fangs on there, like milk it a little bit, so that, you know, like take some of the venom out, so that way, you know, like it is safer. But like you see, like they had like little cups of blood that they poured the venom into from a pit viper and from a cobra to like show you what it does to your body. And I'm like, bro, that's why you die. Like you see the way it like hardens or turns into like a jello, bro. It's like,
oh jeez.
Yeah.
So they milk those fangs. So you're just like, so those teeth aren't so juicy. Jeez. Yeah. That's wild. Cause like I saw that footage of like that guy just like kissing this thing, and I thought it was just gonna strike him. I'm just like, I was like ready to just like click off this video. I'm like, I don't know,
bro. I thought I was watching like Steve Irwin on like Discovery or something. I'm like, what is this, bro? Like, is it Animal Planet or something? I'm like, bro, this is real life. I got my phone out. Like, am I gonna see this guy die?
Yeah,
like,
literally.
I'm recording this. I'm like,
like,
I don't know what's gonna happen, but if it can't be good,
seriously.
But bro, those dudes are dogs. Like, God bless them, bro. I don't know how they even get into the, like, they were telling us that they go to these like snake courses for like months at a time. I'm like, bro, you have to have a course for that, because that is insane. Like, like you were playing with cobras, bro. Like they got the hoods and everything, bro.
That's wild. Yeah, that was insane, bro. I was like, that's crazy. And where was that at? That was
in Thailand, but also in Sri Lanka. We got to see the cobras there as well.
Okay, cool.
And they definitely, like, both places definitely push limits with showing us like being around
culture.
Them. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's super cool.
That's awesome. So that those two you said were kind of tied for your first like favorite places. Was there a place that like just sucked?
every place was cool to see, because it was outside of the U.S. first of all, but also too, it's great. I like seeing other cultures. I like seeing the way other people operate. I guess like day to day life and like how they do things. But like some of the places that like weren't super nice were like would be like the Philippines or Indonesia or like even Sri Lanka. Like we on our bus ride out to the field for that, like to go train with them, like you saw like people living like in mud huts and like and like like these dudes don't even know what a cell phone is.
That's
and
crazy.
Like, they live
totally isolated.
They live a very simple life, like it is survival, and like they have families and everything. So it was fascinating. Like when we were in Indonesia I believe is the highest population for Muslims in the country.
Okay.
So like you'd hear the daily prayer go off and you're like it's different, because we don't hear that in America. So like it's really cool seeing people's cultures.
Yeah.
And like, you try not to be super like offensive with like, like bringing like your Americanized culture over and like being like loud or disrespectful. So like, like when you're talking to them, you're super respectful and like understanding.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's cool. So, I mean, you went all over the place and just like being out in the ocean, just like you look around and there's just no land.
Nothing.
Yeah. Like, and I'm sure just like being away from light even, I want to ask you, like, I've always been fascinated with, like, space and stars. What was it like being on the ocean with no light pollution, just looking up at the stars? Did you ever get a chance to do that?
So there was a couple times I did go outside to, like, the bow to take a look up at the sky, because, there's no light pollution around. Like, the Navy ships, like, they don't light up at night, it's pitch black. So, like, most of the time it was cloudy. I'm like, there's no way, dude. Like, come on, man. I want to see the sky.
Yeah.
But there's a couple times that I get to see it. It's, like, super cool, You see all the skies and you see all the stars in the sky, and like you're just like, damn, bro, like this is beautiful because there's no light pollution. Like, like Navy ships are blackout at night, and there's like when you're in the middle of the ocean, there's like you can't see light pollution. Like, like the thing you might see in the distance is maybe a cargo ship way the far out there, like a light on there, but like like it's super cool. It is beautiful, awesome. And it's fascinating.
No, I've been fascinated with that too because it's crazy, like the contrast between like because we like growing up on the farm and then like I moved out to close to Chicago, Park Ridge for a while. I lived out there for a year, and like you basically can't see any stars there. They're like it's so bad, like so much light pollution. And then we moved back out away from there, and just like out here it's so much nicer. Like you can see stars now, and that was like one of the first things I noticed when we bought our house. Is like, damn, you can actually see the stars again. It's awesome. But like that's one thing that would be so cool because like really like the ocean is like the only place where there's like zero light pollution. So that's definitely
it's very peaceful too. Like a lot of times after chow I'd go out to the bow just to like eat and then just go hang out, get some sunlight, because like when you're in a ship you don't get a lot of sunlight if you're inside unless you go outside, but you don't ever have much to go outside for. So like I'd go out there for like 20 minutes sometimes, not every day, but like every like few days just to get some sunlight at me. Started to get pale on that boat, bro, but but dude, like I'd go out there and like I'd catch some sunsets, and it's like, dude, it's crazy because there's nothing blocking it. There's no mountains or anything. Like you can see every single direction, so you'll see a sunset no matter where you are. Like it's super cool. And like the ocean is honestly to me peaceful. Like I love just staring at the waves. And just like sometimes like the water literally looked like glass.
Oh, really?
It was just smooth.
Wow.
And then there's other days where like there's like these massive like 12-foot swells, and the boat's really rocking. It's like it's crazy to think that the ocean can be super smooth, like water in a glass just sitting there. But then other days it's just like it's like a wave pool, bro. It's crazy.
That's wild. That's insane. Wow. So I also another thing. What was your like tasks on the ship, like day in and day out? I know you said that like sometimes it can get boring and repetitive. Like what was that? What did you do every day?
So there's this thing called ship tax in the Navy. I'd say more Marine Corps because the Navy has their job to do every day. So it's called ship tax. So like they would select people from like different platoons and stuff to go help the Navy, like whether it was like helping out in the chow hall or filling vending machines, or like doing like laundry stuff. Like they would select people for that. It wasn't too many though, so most people had a pretty relaxed work day. So like every now and then we'd have classes, like we'd have classes, to like keep keep up to date on knowledge. It's super important to like to know your knowledge, understand everything that's involved in the job. And like go over that. So we did classes, you know, we maintained our weapons, you know, kept our weapons clean. That's also super important.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, sometimes we were just like we'd have like briefs, you know, like I was a team leader on this deployment. So I would go to like briefs before we hit ports on like what to expect there for like the culture, the people, and like what to look out for, like anything that could be like, I guess you'd say like a red flag.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Even like just hearing it from you, I'm sure being in your shoes, like you said, was repetitive, but it's just like fascinating hearing it from me. So.
Dude, I totally get it, bro. There's this fucking, I don't know how much I can say about it, but there's this room on the ship, you know, like, it's like, bro, it's like what you like picture out of a movie, bro. Like I went up there for the first time, like a couple months into deployment. I went up there for a brief. And I walked in, I was like, huh? I'm looking around, there's like screens everywhere. There's like laptops and like people at working, bro, like ignoring you. I'm like, bro, this is like a movie scene right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm about to get a brief. Like, what am I going to learn? Like, we're about to go to war? But nah, it's just like, you know, it's just part of the ship. And dude, like it's super cool. You know, like you see things that like you wouldn't have seen before. Like one of the coolest parts too, you know, like we're with the Navy, we're integrated with them. So like, you talk to a lot of sailors, you know, you see like, you know, that it's a different culture than the Marine Corps. And like these are their ships, and we live with them. So like a lot of them hate it, but some of them don't really care. And like, you make new friends on there, and it's like it's so fascinating, bro. Like you hear their stories, like you know, like a lot of them are stationed out in San Diego, so they'll tell you all about like different spots to go. But like, I'm already like, you know, like king of San Diego in a way. You know what I'm saying? So like, I know a lot of these spots, but nah, dude, it's like super cool. Like talking to these dudes, like hearing like their perspective on their military service, because it's way different than the Marine Corps, man. You know, like. It's like night and day, Navy and Marines, especially like depending on your job, you know, like being a grunt, like the Navy doesn't have grunts.
Yeah.
Like they have Navy SEALs, but that's completely different, bro. That's special operations. Like that's a whole different spectrum of the military.
Yeah. Okay.
But like, like a lot of these dudes, like their job, their sole job is to work in the chow, or their sole job is to work on the engines. Their sole job is to work on laundry stuff or be maintenance. Like it depends on what your job is there. So it's like, it's like kind of fascinating in a way. Because like, they just have a different perspective on a lot of different things, because like they don't look at things the way we do as grunts, because like we're violent, you know. Like we're super violent people. We like, you know, we love chaos. Like we love the struggle. So like, you know, like they tell you like some bad news, like we usually handle pretty well. Grunts, we do complain a lot. I will say we do complain a lot, but we get the job done. You know, like we love complaining about the suck, but we will always, at the end of the day,
embrace it.
Yeah, we'll embrace it and be the ones that get the job done, because you know it's in our culture, it's in our nature, it's what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So just being on the ship, like when you first got on and then when you first got off, how is it like you hear like getting your sea legs and getting your land legs back? Like did you have those shaky legs when you first got on the ship? Did you get seasick at all?
So thankfully I never got seasick. There was times where like the potential was there, like had it been worse. We didn't go through any like super crazy weather, but we definitely did have some waves, you know, like between Hawaii and Indonesia, there was a lot of waves. Like the boat would always rock in like the galley, which is like, you know, where they cook all the food. That was like right above our berthing on the next deck. And like, dude, it'd be like 3 a.m, bro, you're sleeping in your rack, just all comfortable, and like the boat has like a really fucking far rock, and you just hear everything in there fall, bro. Pots, pans, knives, silverware, and it's like it's funny because it's like it's not my problem, you know. I don't gotta go clean it, but it's like I'm pissed because I got woken up in the middle of sleep, but it's also kind of funny because I'm like, dude, that sucks. And like, so the boat definitely rocked, and like, if it was a smaller boat, like super small, like a shipping vessel, I definitely would have gotten sick. Yeah, because like the bigger the boat, the less you kind of feel the waves, but you still feel it for sure. Yeah, but like, at first, being at sea, like and like rocking back and forth kind of sucked, but like getting on land, it was like, whoa, this is weird, you know. I'm like stable. Yeah. But like as deployment went on, you just got so used to it. Like no matter whether you were at sea or on land, like you were just so used to it. Okay. Yeah,
that's cool. I'm sure like you've talked about some of your firearms that you were carrying and stuff. Like you get to operate some cool equipment. Like what kind of equipment were you operating, and what kind of firearms did you get a chance to get your hands on?
Yeah, dude. So in my career, you know, the weapon that I do carry right now is the M27. Okay. It you know, fully automatic rifle. I guess you could say 5.56. I've shot that, which is like, you know, that's like I guess you could say my daily driver, you know. That's like what I carry. That's my baby. Got to keep her clean and everything, you know. Yeah. But that's actually, I love the M27 so much. I actually have it tattooed on me.
Oh, that's cool.
But So that's what I carry regularly. I'm qualified on the M18, so I was pistol qualified. So like in the Marine Corps, you have to shoot yearly for a rifle.
Okay.
And then pistol, you don't have to shoot yearly, but you can get pistol qualified. And I was in a course where I got pistol qualified, so that's super cool. And I shot the M18. It's a SIG. I've shot the Law, which is a rocket. Super cool.
That's cool. What was that like?
Oh, dude, it's like crazy, bro. Like it's not anything what you'd expect. Like one thing they tell you when they teach you how to shoot is they're like you literally you're pressing a button in this rocket, bro. This thing that could just destroy so many individuals and vehicles, like just takes off, right?
Yeah.
You're so used to recoil because you're shooting guns all the time, but you have a rocket on your shoulder, and you hit the button. They're like, don't compensate for recoil, because a lot of times like when you're shooting a rifle and you're about to take one shot, you might push into it a little bit, like prepare yourself. There's no recoil. It's a rocket. Yeah. Like it's an open tube, but like there's a back blast and it goes.
Oh,
so
wow.
like there's no kickback.
Huh.
So like you're not used to that, because everything you fire has a recoil. So like
that's wild.
So you got to prepare yourself for that. You hit the button and it goes, and like, bro, this thing's loud, bro.
Yeah, I
like,
bet. Like
we have the Law, we have the Small. The Small is like the main rocket we carry right now for my unit, but we're getting rid of that to get the Carl G here soon. But yeah, those things are loud.
Yeah.
And like you're never prepared for how loud it is unless you shoot them regularly, which we don't. Cause, like
they're expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive. So the javelin, you know what the javelin is?
Yeah.
So that is a missile.
You get to fire one of those?
Almost. I turned down the opportunity.
Really?
So I was in my schoolhouse. I was an ITB, and I really we were learning, like it was this new program that they've implemented now, and I was like the second cycle to ever go through it. But so part of the course was learning the javelin.
Yep.
And I was like one of the better shooters in my platoon. Mm-hmm. And like when it came to like most things, so they had me take the fleet test for the javelin, and I passed it. And they were like, well, right now it's between you and another guy to shoot the javelin. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, well, if I shoot the javelin, will I be a 52? Like, will I be a rocketman in the fleet? And they're like, potentially. And I'm like, I only want to be an 0311, which is a rifleman, so I'm gonna have to turn it down. So so my buddy ended up shooting it. I'm happy for him, because that's like, dude, that's like $80,000 right there. Just to fucking pull,
one shot.
Just to pull that trigger. It's expensive, but that is
you should have just taken the opportunity and just like fucking just so messed up. You should just aimed so shittily just to shoot it.
Nah, dude, those things are so cool, bro. Like just like if you could like look through, like it's called the command launch unit that you're looking through to like aim and everything, and when you look through that and you see everything, like super cool piece of technology. That's why we keep giving to Ukraine, because like that shit does stuff.
Yeah.
But when you see that stuff, and like turning it down was really hard.
Yeah.
In hindsight, it's even harder though, because every single one of us graduated as 0311s. So I still could have shot it and been an 0311. So that kind of sucks, because I know 52s who have never shot that in a 4-year career.
Wow.
And I was gonna shoot that in my schoolhouse to be an 11.
Yeah.
Like, that is crazy.
Wow. That's freaking cool. Yeah. So your baby, what was that firearm again that was
the M27.
M27. Was that, so did you get that and that was like your gun, or was it like, everybody just kind of grabs a gun before you go out on a hike or whatever?
No,
so you had yours like marked as yours.
Yeah, everything is serialized. Everything is to you, to your name, because you take responsibility. The government trusts you with that equipment. The government owns it. They give it to you. It's serialized to you. So like, if the armory issues you your weapon, and you go out on a hike and you come back without a weapon, which that has never happened to me, but and it shouldn't.
Yeah.
But like if you do that, then like they're like, what the fuck? Like, like it's gonna be a bad day. It's gonna be a bad week, a bad month. It's gonna be a bad long time for you. Yeah, you're beyond fucked, beyond fucked straight. But yeah, like everything's serialized to you. You take full responsibility for it. So like it makes you care a little bit more. Yeah. But also at the same time too, like like your weapon is everything.
Yeah.
Like, we're Marines. That's how we win our firefights.
Yeah, absolutely. So then equipment wise, did you get to operate any equipment, or was it hiking all the time?
No. So not everything is hiking, fortunately.
Vehicles, anything like that?
Yeah. So we when I was in my schoolhouse, obviously threw some grenades, frags.
Cool.
Yeah, the M6.
How was that?
Oh, super cool, bro. Dude, I'm telling you, like, I don't know.
Is it scary pulling that pin?
Yes, bro. When you carry the thing and you know what it's capable, like,
yeah,
like you see movies, you play video games, whatever.
Oh
bro.
Yeah, it's like
you throw a frag, like whatever. But like when you hold a real life, M67 fragmentation grenade in your hand, you're like, bro, I know what this can do to the human body, and it's in my hand, like at my chest, like goodbye. Like you look at it differently, you know, like like, you know, I got my gloves on, I'm like, you know, I'm holding this thing in death grip and I'm getting ready to pull the pin and throw it. And I'm like, dude, the whole time, like, I'm not scared, but like my heart's racing a little bit because, like, bro, if you drop it, like, you have like 3 to 5 seconds to do something, rather get rid of it or hide, or like that's not a long time if you think about it.
No.
So like you have to take that into account, you know. So that's why, like, one thing I always do, I always wear my shooting gloves when I throw grenades, because like I don't want my hands on there, because like, you know, if you're nervous and you're sweating or you're moving around, you're sweating, like, not that you would drop it, but like just in case, you know. So I always wear my gloves. And yeah, dude, the throwing a grenade, like, super cool. Like, bro, when those things go off, like, you feel that in your chest, bro. Like, any explosion, you feel that stuff. Like, it's way different seeing it in person and like being part of the experience versus seeing it in like movies or games. But also too, like, we did the Claymore. You know, like, I helped employ a Claymore and set that off. Super cool. Like anything explosions is super cool. We did C4. C4 was really cool to do. Yeah, that's like some of the main stuff. I shot the 240, the machine gun.
Okay, yeah,
medium machine gun, 7.62.
Yeah,
belt fed, super cool, bro. Like I had mentioned earlier on, like, one of my hikes, I carried it. It's definitely it's a handful. Yeah, that is you know, like, love for all my 0331s out there, machine gunners. Those dudes are dogs, you know. Like, they'll always like say they're better than 11s, but at the end of the day, you're not main effort. But I respect what you guys do. You guys are dogs. That is you know, carrying that A-bag, carrying that 240, that is a task. It's
a big bitch.
Yeah, you gotta employ that, and like they do their gun drills. Like, I respect what they do.
Yeah, that's cool. So then back to the vehicles thing. How anything?
Yeah, vehicles. So, the infantry gets a little unique, right? So like, it's not just like hiking everywhere and like doing all that. So like, I'm part of Trax company.
Okay.
So there's like for us, there's like helo company. So you fly around in birds, not everywhere, but like depending on the field op and like in a combat situation, the birds will get you to a certain, like, they'll get you from A to B, and then you hike to the objective. Depending on what the mission is, it's all situational dependent. So then there's boat company, you know, from ship to shore, they'll take a boat, like a small little Zodiac, and then, like, you know, they do their thing. And then for us, we're Trax company, so we're kind of in a unique spot right now. And the Marine Corps is famously known for their AAVs, which is an amphibious assault vehicle. It has the Trax, so that's why we're called Trax company.
Gotcha.
So the Marine Corps recently upgraded to the ACV. They're not fully transitioned to the ACV. Okay. But the ACV is like the new AAV and is slowly phasing out the AAV, but it's kind of in limbo right now. I'll get to that in a second. But I'm part of Trax company, so that's like my whole shindig is riding in those, right? So I've never been in an AAV, but my company, like, the ACVs are attached to us, so that's what I ride in. And a couple years ago, I want to say it was 2018. I could be wrong. It could have been sooner or later. I don't know. But there was like the AAV that went out the coast of California, and some Marines and corpsmen died and whatnot. Oh, shit. So like that kind of made the Marine Corps bring the ACVs to the fleet sooner, because AAVs were kind of a little unsafe, you know, depending on like what was wrong with them. So the ACVs are like updated and modern, and like they're supposed to be better. We didn't end up deploying with them because they had an incident, and they were on stand down for years. So like, we were going to be the first unit to ever deploy with ACVs. But I love the ACVs. A lot of people are like, oh, that shit sucks. Like, yeah, being in them sucks, but I'm not hiking. Like,
yeah, right.
Like, being in them, like, it's cramped. Like, you know, like, you get uncomfortable. It's not designed to be comfortable, you know, like, it's designed to transport you. Yeah, like, you know, and it, you know, it's armored, and it has a bunch of capabilities that are designed to not only transport us, but to just absolutely like rain hell on people. Yeah. Anyone that opposes us. And it's super cool just like riding in them, because like there's these screens in there and you can kind of see what's going on the outside. See like what the gunner's seeing with his, like, it's called the crows, but how he can see, like, you know, like target acquisition with his screen and everything, and like how they shoot it, and like how it automatically adjusts aim. It's super cool stuff. That's cool. But yeah, so like in terms of vehicles, like that's like most of my experience. I mean, when we go to the field, we ride in the 7 tons, those big old trucks, you know, like Motor T will take us out there sometimes if we don't have to hike. So shout out to my Motor T dudes out there, because sometimes you be making it so we don't got to hike, and I'm all about that, you know.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's cool. So you had quite a few experiences on some pretty kick-ass vehicles. Yeah, basically anything that will avoid hiking though, right?
Yeah, I mean we've flown in a few birds too.
Oh yeah,
I've flown in the Osprey, the V22, which is
cool.
the double rotor.
Oh,
the one that infamously goes down all the time.
Yeah, right.
flew in that for the first time on deployment, bro. I was scared the whole time, but we made it. It was a safe flight.
Yeah,
it was a smooth flight. And then I've been in the CH-53, which is it's a single rotor on top. Massive helicopter. It's basically meant to like transport like a lot of like cargo weight.
Okay.
And I've ridden in that before. Actually, when I came off the boat back to California, that is how I got home. I love that bird.
That's
and
awesome.
then there's the Huey, the famous Huey. You know, like you see Vietnam Hueys, but so we got Hueys too. Those are super cool. Those always travel with our Cobras. Cobras are attack helicopters. So those were on our ship. I've never been in a Huey. I've never been in a Cobra, obviously, because Cobra's a two-man, like pilot and gunner. So gotta be an officer to do that. But,
gotcha.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So as far as like, there was a lot of firearms you talked about. Like, what's like the toll on your body? Do you wear hearing protection when you're doing that, or is it
always
just like, oh okay?
Yeah,
I wasn't sure about that.
It's required. Which makes sense. You know, like you're obviously like. You're an idiot if you don't wear hearing protection shooting gun stuff, especially a machine gun, bro. Like, dude, the 240 is not a quiet gun.
Right.
Like, no, it is loud, and if you're ever gonna be behind the handle of a 240 and pull that trigger, like you will have hearing protection. It's just anything in the Marine Corps, like. You know, like the weapons in general are loud. I mean, you've shot guns before. Even a handgun can be loud. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
But like you know, like repeat, like having like rounds go off, like that'll mess your hearing up, and like super important. So
yeah, no, that was definitely a question I had. I didn't know if like that wearing hearing protection would hinder your job with like commands and stuff, but then like long term, that was an interesting.
Like when we're doing ranges and like we're doing stuff and like you know you got your hearing protection on. So like we were issued Pelletors, the over the ear kind of like headphones, and like they like amplify sound from the outside, so like they'll muff like gunshots and stuff, but you can hear like commands. But like even without that, let's say you have like earplugs in, right? Like it's like little foamies in or something. Like like everything's more quiet, but like you are communicating, you know, like in a line company when you were like actions on objective, like you are shooting, you were doing what you need to do, like you were screaming, like you everything, like it doesn't go unheard, like you're you know, like if I say something over here and like my 320 gunner, which is our grenade launcher, which I also have shot, I didn't talk about that, which is like, you know, he's like 6 men down and can't hear me. That's why everything you like, every call out you pass down the line, so that like so communication is like super important.
Okay. And then following that kind of toll on your body as far as like the hearing thing, but like is there any more like toll on your body? Like how are you feeling anything? Like do you now that you're home, do you like, is there anything that like really hurts you, or like how's your vision and stuff? And
I feel like my vision's good. I feel like that hasn't changed too much. We also wear iPro too. You know, we have like clear and dark. So like during daytime, obviously you're gonna wear your dark. You could wear clear if you wanted to, but you always wear like, you know, vision stuff too, because you know, like rounds flying, like
there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, if a round's coming at you and it hits the ground, like it's like dirt and shit hitting you, like you got it. You know, it's super important. You need your vision. But also too, just like in terms of like what my body's feeling, I feel like it's been gradual. Like there, obviously you like, you know, like let's say you do a hike, your body's gonna be going through. You're gonna be crip walking everywhere. You know, like like everywhere you go, you're gonna be limping and you're gonna look all goofy. Like you go out to town, people are like, that dude's like 20 years old. Why are you like, was he like 60? Like so like it like you walk like you're an old man for like a day or two after hiking. It is very it takes its toll on you. But in terms of like long term pain, like my body for the most part is okay.
Okay, cool.
Like if you do have like pains that like are long term, it kind of gradually comes.
Gotcha.
You know? Like sometimes you like mess up your knee or your ankle or your arm, something, whatever it is. Like like situational, like you fall on something, it's gonna hurt, and like you know, you might be out of commission for a little bit. But in terms of like regular pain, I mostly feel at my knees, my ankles, but that just comes with being a grunt. You know, like all the hiking we do, all the weight we have to carry, just like it's like I said before, it's like the human body's not necessarily designed to do that, but like someone's got to do that.
Right. Yes. And then another thing, what was like the age? Because I know like we talked about, you deployed late. Like what what was the age of some of these guys operating this equipment? Like some of the pilots and stuff. Like what was like the age range?
Yeah.
It was all pretty young guys, right?
Yeah, a lot of the military is young. A lot of people have issues with that. Like they'll be like, oh, these are just kids. I'm like, I don't know. I have a different perspective on it. Like,
right.
Do you want someone who's in their 20s and in their prime,
yeah,
fighting the wars and winning, or do you want someone who's like in their 50s, who's like,
right,
like, you know what I'm saying? Their body's been through it already just from existing. So like someone's got to do it, and like,
right,
yeah, that's like a whole ass conversation, I guess, because people are always saying they're kids, but
yeah,
you know, like it was weird because I was 23 when I joined. I'm 25 right now, and so like I have a lot of like leadership in my platoon that's younger than me.
Right.
So like it's weird. It's not weird, but it's like I really don't care as long as you're good at your job.
Yeah.
But when you get those onesies and twosies that like aren't good at their job or they're toxic, I'm like I'm biting my tongue, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm over there like, all right, yep, Roger that. You know, like,
yeah. Have you ever crossed the line and just said something that you probably shouldn't have?
No, I haven't. I've seen people do it though.
Oh yeah.
A lot of times, like, you know, like
how'd that go?
It just depends on the person you're talking to. You know, like
anybody just get their ass whooped.
Yeah, you know, like in the grunt world, we get pretty handsy. You know, like we'll go to the mats and we'll do some like, you know, like grappling and ground fighting and just, you know, like it's a good way to release energy for sure.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like there's been call outs at the mats before, you know, like people that don't like each other, they'll call each other out, and like, you know, next thing you know, it's like they're borderline having a fist fight, but they're not throwing fists, you know, they're trying to choke each other out, you know, tap each other out, and it's just like you would see the anger in both of them, and then you know, like you're not even cheering for one of them, bro. You just, whoever has the advantage, you just start cheering for the dude that doesn't have the advantage. You know, and like you just want to see a good fight. You don't really care who wins. Yeah. Like you egg them on, bro. You encourage it. It's awesome. So funny.
Yeah. So I remember a story you told me too last time you came home, where like you kind of pissed off one of your upper rank men. Like what you were. I think you said you were bleeding from.
Okay. This is a boot camp story.
Okay.
So when I remember this. So when boot camp is a different world. A lot of people when a lot of people think about the military, they'll ask you a lot of boot camp questions, right? Because like you see movies, you hear about boot camp, like boot camp is like, out of my 4 years of like service overall, by the time I get out, there was only 3 months of it, you know.
Yep.
It's 13 weeks, but like. Boot camps is like a wild place, you know. There's a lot of sayings in boot camp, like it's the funniest place you can't laugh, or it's like the most amount of fun you never want to have again. People will say whatever they want, like it's unique, and so you do a lot of drill in boot camp, especially in the Marine Corps, you know, because it builds discipline. Like it gets you like thinking about things other than like you think about the details more when you do drill, and you get like, even if you're right, you're wrong in boot camp. Right. That type of thing. The drill instructors they will fuck you up for even living. So. I'm out on the we're on the recruit highway in San Diego, and we're doing drill, and you know we're doing stuff with our M16s, which is our drill for rifle, our rifle for drill, alcohol,
so alcohol for drill.
So I think I don't remember exactly what we were doing, but like, you know, our DI at the time, was actually like my favorite DI I had in boot camp. He was like telling us, like, you know, like really hit it, you know, like he was like showing us, he was passionate about it, like super cool dude. And so I'm like, all right, dude, like I'm not like great at drill, but like I don't want to suck, so I'm just gonna like try being aggressive with it, you know.
So what were you doing?
So like it's hard to explain. Like I feel bad for forgetting the names, but you know, I don't do drill. I'm a grunt.
Yeah,
like,
all good.
Not a part of my you know, that was a part of my life for like 13 weeks. But like, it was like good. Something with the rifle, you know, like you started like position of attention, you bring it up to like port arms or something. And I think we were doing like to like putting in our right shoulder. Okay. And I ended up cutting my hand on it, on the A-frame of the rifle. And like whatever, like you get injured, I don't really care. Like, but I'm like bleeding, and it's like getting on my rifle. I'm like, fuck, you know. Now they're gonna blast me because my rifle has blood on it. You know, like anything to get you on, they'll get you on to boot camp. So like, you know, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm kind of in the front. You know, like I'm in first squad. Like my DI can see me, or at least like I'm within vision. So if he does look over, he'll be able to see. Yep. And you know, just didn't say anything. We end up going back into the squad bay, you know, to prepare for whatever was next. We were done with drill, so like. You know, I'm like kind of like not heavy. I don't want to say heavy bleeding because it wasn't like a lot of blood, but I'm like bleeding enough to where like I need to get it cleaned up. Right. So I go up to my DI and I basically ask him like, "Yo, can I go to the head to like clean my hand a little bit?" Blah blah blah. and he lets me go. So in the time I go in there to like rinse my hand off and like get a paper towel on it, that drill instructor went into the duty hut and another drill instructor came out to kind of take over. Gotcha. So like he didn't know what was going on.
Gotcha.
So they're counting us down, doing stuff like dumb stuff. So I get online by my rack and I got my paper towel on. I see like the new drill instructor that's out there, and yeah, dude, he like he's counting us down. I'm trying to go into my Foot Locker. I'm trying to get like some like they call it recruit tape, but this tape that I could like tape this paper towel around my hand.
So you're at your locker trying to unlock it.
Yeah, and like like they count you down, bro. They get to 0, like you don't move. When they say 0, you do not move. It doesn't matter. Like you could be in the push-up position, you hold the push-up position. That kind of don't move. Like you just freeze. And so it gets to 0, and I'm like still unlocking it, bro. And like all of a sudden, I'm over there, I'm unlocking my locker, just like trying to hurry, and like I just feel the whole room staring at me. I'm like, this isn't good. So I look up to my right, and this drill instructor's coming towards me, bro. Like he is heavily walking towards me, and I'm like, so I stand up straight because like I know something about to happen. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not gonna be on my knee for this. So I stand up. He puts me up against the wall. He's like, "Do we move after 0?" Like blah blah blah. Like he's like putting me on blast in front of the whole squad or the whole platoon, and like yeah, dude, I just like that was another moment where I had to bite my tongue because I was trying to take care of myself,
Yeah.
But at the same time, God bless the Marine Corps. It's supposed to instill discipline in you, respect as well, because you got to respect rank. It doesn't matter if you're like 30 years old talking to a 22-year-old corporal. Like, at the end of the day, rank does matter, and people get it for a reason. So,
yeah, absolutely. I always thought that was a crazy story. That's funny. So I want to go to like some of your long hikes and just like being in California and just like being like out in nature on these long hikes. Like you hear about like kind of like the Cobras thing, but like just the wildlife. What was it like? I mean, I'm sure you're out there overnights and stuff like that, camping out. Like, what was it like? Do you have any like wildlife stories? Or like, I know you've talked about like tarantulas and scorpions.
Tarantulas in Pendleton.
What was that like? How big are those things?
Oh, dude, tarantulas, like some of them are pretty big. Like you see, you're like, bro, get away from me.
Yeah.
Like we were in the field one time, right? Mm-hmm. And the machine gunners were up late. They were kind of talking. Their corpsman was talking, and he goes up into his, he goes to grab something by his pack. He picks up his blouse, and all of a sudden, like the blouse is like our top.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he like something falls. He goes, "Yo, what was that?" So he like grabs the light. And he's looking around. He's like, "What fell out of my blouse?" And all of a sudden, there's like a giant tarantula. He goes, "Oh fuck no!" And like, so I'm passed out, bro.
Yeah.
And like, I'm passed out. I'm like in my whoopee, like my feet are hanging out, like I'm just like gone. And my buddy next to me, we're up having a conversation. So this tarantula decided it wanted to come hang out with us, right? And so it was coming, like it was beelining it for my foot, bro. Like this thing was like en route to come get me. It was gonna crawl all over. I don't know what it was gonna do, but it wanted to be by me.
Yeah.
And it's like scurrying, and my buddy is like shaking me. I'm like, stop, and he goes, no, and that made me mad. So I like he's like, it's right there. I'm like, what? So I ripped my whoopee off and I'm looking, this tarantula's like 2 feet from my foot about to crawl on me. I'm like, bruh.
God.
So this dude walks over and I'm like, yo, kill that thing. So he like killed the tarantula and like kicked it away. I'm like, bro, there's no way. So my buddy, I was like, dude, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, that thing was going to touch me,
How
bro.
is that like hand size, like fully extended hand size?
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, they can be bigger, smaller. But like, honestly, to be for real, like tarantulas, at first I hated it, but now I don't really mind. They're docile.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, like dude, if you like, could they bite you? Of course. Are they gonna kill you? No. Like if you put your hand down and like it was walking by, like it might crawl on you. Like it's not gonna like fucking just attack you.
Okay, I thought they were pretty aggressive. They look like it.
Some of them might be. I mean, the way we mess around with them, they get aggressive. Like I shot a laser in one of their eyes once. They didn't like it. It went on its hind legs and started charging my buddy. But
oh really? Jeez. Dude. Then did you have to stamp it?
No, we just let it do its thing. We were on a little patrol and we saw it, and I was like, yo, let's mess with this thing. We're in a circle around it. But yeah, like with scorpions, we had a dude that there was a scorpion crawling on at night when he was sleeping, and like I guess it stung him not on his eye but near his eye. So his shit was swollen, bro. It's like those little ones. They don't kill you, but like it fucked him up a little bit.
Wow.
And then rattlesnakes are out there too. I haven't honestly in person, I haven't seen any rattlesnakes. I had a buddy that killed one in ITB. Probably shouldn't say that on the podcast, but he saw a rattlesnake in ITV. He saw a rattlesnake, and yeah, dude, like there's Have you ever heard of Tarantula Hawk?
No. Oh, those like huge ass wasp things.
Blue ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, they got those out there.
Really,
dude? Those things are big, bro.
Fuck.
They're juicy too, dude. You see them and you're like,
juicy.
Bro. I think we've all seen like
those things can kill, right?
I don't know what it would do. I know they hurt. I know they hurt a lot. I don't know anyone's been stung by them, but except on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen people get stung by them. I'm like, bro, there's no way. Like, so we have those out there, right? And like they'll like fly by. They usually leave you alone. You know, it's not like a regular bee where it like tries to land on you.
It's like bird size.
It seems like a little like hummingbird sometimes, but like it'll fly by you, right? And you're just like, damn, bro. You know exactly what it is. It's blue. It's got yellow wings. Like the thing is like juicy and like big and like you just know. And so like one day we're in the field, and there's like. I see one of them like so they're called tarantula hawks for a reason. They hunt tarantulas.
Oh, really?
Holy shit. So there's like there's this baby tarantula. Its legs all curled. This thing's dead. Getting crawled across the grass by one of these things, and I'm like, wow. I looked at it. I'm like, this is fucking disgusting, bro.
Yeah, that's wild.
I'm like, I guess that's how we get our names, huh?
Yeah, literally. Yeah, you ever swat one? It just like explodes like a water balloon. That's crazy, dude. Wow. Yeah. So as far as like that camping goes, and like I'm gonna kind of take it back again to you spent a lot of time like just hiking. Was that like kind of the majority of like your experience in California?
No. So we do make a lot of movements, you know, like so like in our workup we have like different things we have to do before we're qualified to deploy. And hikes are one of them. You know, like you have to hike this distance, like whether it's a 6 mile, 9 mile, 15 mile, 20 mile, whatever it is. But a lot of times for our field ops too, we have to like we don't call them hikes. We just say make movement. We have to make movement from like point A to point B, right? Sometimes it's a couple miles, sometimes it's like 10. Yeah. It sucks either way. Yeah. But you know, like a lot of people do think about the Marine Corps and they think about hikes and stuff, and like it's honestly not that bad. Yep. Honestly, like yeah, it sucks and it hurts, but it's just more boring. You know, like when you're doing like a no shit hike where you start at the parade deck and you just start hiking, you're like, all right, we got like 6 miles, like 9 miles, whatever it is. Yeah. You're just walking, you know? Like hiking isn't that hard. You just have weight on your body and you're walking. Yeah. And you just got to keep up with the dude in front of you. Gotcha. So like that's like one of the bigger things is just like kind of getting that mindset for it, because no one likes hiking, bro. Not a human being on it. People that go hiking in free time, bro, they don't know what real hiking is, bro. You go to the Marine Corps and hike, like me, if I'm on leave right now, you won't catch me at a park. like trying to like walk up to go see something. Like, how can you estimate how heavy is your total amount of gear that you're carrying? Yeah, dude. So like if we have a like freshly loaded up, you're heading out now, like how much that way? So if I'm hiking, right, like if they like everything is situational dependent, so I'll kind of break it down. So if we're going like a no shit hike, like we have a rifle which is like, we'll just say like 10 to 12 pounds, and then we have our pack. So our pack has to be a certain weight dry. Yep. That means not including any water we have. So water adds weight too, right? But that doesn't count because you're consuming it. Yep. So dry weight would be like, depending, like the longer you go, the heavier the pack needs to be, that sounds weird, but it's just the way it is. Yeah. So like, you know, like on average, I would say like 60 pounds. Yeah. So yeah. The more gear you need for a longer hike. So yeah, you have about 70 pounds on your body, you know? Wow. Like that you're walking with. If we're doing like a range, let's say you have like full kits, like your flak with your front and back Sapien, like whatever you run on there, and then like your belt, like full load out with ammo. Ammo's heavy, bro. People don't realize people don't realize how heavy ammo is, bro. Like you have 6 mags at 30. It's 180 rounds. Like, you're like, that's not that much, but like it is. Yeah, it is, bro. You feel that in your hips, bro. Like you got your belt on, so like you have that, and then your Kevlar, and then if you're doing like a night range, you have your nods on, right? Yeah. So like your nods come down, and like it kind of like weighs down a little bit. So like you have a lot of weight on you, and like depending on your billet, your job, whatever it is, like within the infantry, you might have an assault pack on that carries like extra ammo, extra food, or like a pull list litter, like medical supplies, whatever it is. Yep. So like you could be running a range with like an additional like 30 to 60 pounds in your body, depending on what you need to carry. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and again, I'm bringing in the little experience that I have just to have a frame of reference to compare. Like so I got my concealed carry, and like I've carried a handful of different firearms just because, you know, I always look for one that fits me the best, like what works for me the best. So I've carried full size, I've carried compact, subcompact, just like experimenting, some with extended mags and stuff. But like,
there's a huge world of a difference with like a subcompact with like, even if you put an extended mag on there, like even like 2, 3, 4 extra rounds, you can feel it. If you go with a full size, like you pop the mag out and it's like that a full size weighs like just as much as like a subcompact with ammo, but like as soon as you slap the mag in there, like a full like 17 round mag, it's like fucking heavy. Like it's just like I'm just concealed carry walking around, like my pants are like sliding down just carrying this thing, and it's just like I can only imagine what it's like carrying like 30 round mags and stuff, like multiple of them, just you got to keep your belt pretty tight, huh? Do you have like markings on your hips for cinching this thing up?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I just wear my shooting belt, so that, like my belt, like it's like Velcro, and then like the actual belt that goes over that, like Velcros to it. So like it actually kind of helps my hips.
Oh
like, yeah. So it's not like it's not pushing down on them; it's resting on them. So it doesn't like, it makes like all the difference in the world, especially with like your loadout, because you got your you have your ammunition, your IFAC, which is like your it's your individual first aid kit. So like, God forbid you get shot or whatever, like there's things to treat you with. It has your like your tourniquets and stuff, like and whatever other accessories you need. Some people put the grenade pouches on there, like it's whatever, like whatever helps you perform the best. But you got to carry the ammo though, so
right? How is the footwear too? Because that's one thing. Like I've hiked in boots before, but it fucking sucks hiking in boots. But like you guys wear boots, so how is that like?
There's a lot of boots that you can wear. For us, like it's not like, oh, you have to wear this one boot, like
Oh, okay. So,
everyone's feet are different. There's certain boots we can wear though, but we have a lot of options. So like for my boots, like they're super comfortable. Like
okay, cool.
I have boots for the field that like they'll take a beating, they'll get like ripped up and shit. Like I can just replace later. But then I have boots in garrison, so like I look good in my uniform. Like like they don't go to the field, so they're not like all dirty and torn up and ripped and stuff.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, but boot wise, like we have a lot of options, and like it's comfortable.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's whatever works best.
Nice. So I'm gonna kind of lighten the topic here a little bit. I know you mentioned earlier about a tattoo that you have.
Yeah.
What other tattoos do you have? You want to walk me through kind of your tattoos?
So I just have this one. It's the skeleton. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I got this one actually before deployment. So he's holding an M27. He's got his foot on top of a skull, and he kind of just has his arm out, and he's like screaming.
Yeah.
So like.
So it's a skeleton with the M27.
Yeah, which is the
foot
rifle
on the
I
skull.
carry.
That's
and
cool.
Like, yeah, I kind of got that because like, I don't know. I kind of look at it in the sense of like, like we'll rain victory on our enemies.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter who they are.
Yep.
Like fucking Marines stay ready.
Yep.
And like we do a lot of preparation so that we can do like what we need to do.
Yeah.
And like we're, like I said before, we're violent. Like not like like we
you
go
need
to the bar.
be.
Yeah, you have to have violence in you. Like we're not like we're going to the bar like, all right, let's get into a fight.
Right.
Not like
right.
that.
No, you're not looking for it, but
we instill violence and aggression in everything we do in our training because like you have to.
Yep.
Like you have to want to like. Love it or hate it, our job is to like kill the enemy, and like you have to want to do it.
Absolutely.
You have to want to bring pain on them, like not suffering but pain. That's just the name of it, man.
Doesn't matter what your views are or what, but I personally feel comfort knowing it's you guys out there defending that front line and protecting this country. So.
Yeah, dude, it's weird though, because that was my perspective, right? Like as a civilian before I joined, I was like, like we got these people, but now I am like one of those people, and it's like, who do I rely on?
Yeah, you rely on you.
I guess I just rely on like higher people in the chain of command that make the right calls.
Yep.
So that we're able to do our job. And yeah, it's weird, man. It's like it's crazy how your perspective changed going from like civilian to like military, especially like active duty. I don't know, like I'm not a reservist by any means, but like I got buddies that went reservist, and it's like your perspective changes a lot in a lot of things, like because like I just mentioned, like you become that first line of defense. You become the one that goes versus like, oh yeah, I know that there's those dudes out there. I can go about my life.
Yep.
And it's like it's super crazy. I don't know if you remember back in like elementary school, middle school. Like, do you ever remember like writing letters to the troops?
Yeah.
You'd write letters, right?
Yeah.
And like you
That's
would just
awesome.
like you would send it out, and like you have no idea who got it, but you sent it. You felt really good doing it, and like it was weird. So on this deployment, I was one of the people that like received it, not individually, but like my platoon, like. We got like letters and stuff from like these little kids from like I don't know what age or grade, but like it's like cool when you get that, right?
That's so cool. And again, back to the bigger picture thing, bigger than yourself.
Yeah, and like so there's this one that came in, right? and like this is all through like organizations that run this stuff.
Yep.
And I have it right here on my phone.
Yeah.
So like you know, there's like all these different things they write on here, but bro, this one was almost like a tearjerker, especially being on deployment.
Yeah.
Like it's like you don't realize what, like, you know what you're fighting for, but sometimes it's easy to forget like the emotional side of it. And there's like a little kid that wrote that says like what freedom means to me, and they wrote, to me freedom means having the right to do something and also not being controlled by anyone against our will.
Wow.
And that's like, I don't know how old they were, but like that's some real shit.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like
wow.
Yeah, dude, like you got to find your motivation, you know? Like it's sometimes it sucks. Like I talk about the job and like there's people that like become like shitbags or some shit. And like they just like they hate the job, but at the end of the day, like you signed up for it, you know? You signed that contract, whatever it is, 4 years, like you complete it to the best of your ability, get out and be done.
Yeah.
Like that's the way I look at it. So that's why like I'm not the best that's ever done it, but I outperform some people because I have that mindset of like I put myself in this situation.
Yep.
So like I just haven't forgotten why I joined, you know, like you know, like when I come back on leave, you know, I'm far away from bases right now, you know, being out here.
Yeah.
And so like it's kind of nice to kind of like forget about being a Marine because I wore my uniform for 7 months straight. Like it's nice to be in civvies regularly again. Yeah. But also at the same time too, like when I see like families out here, like at the store, or like whatever it is they're doing, like you remember like what you're fighting for, like because like those people are able to live their lives because you're willing to like sacrifice everything so that they can live their life normal. And like the best part about it too, they don't even have to think twice about it. Yeah. Like I don't care about being thanked for my service. I don't care about any of that shit. I don't need someone like thanking me. I don't need someone writing me letters. Like I don't need like a commercial about me. I don't need any of that. Like the Marine Corps doesn't need that either. But like so when you physically come home and you see that, and like they don't know you're a Marine, you know, like you're just here, like there's no Marine base around here, like they don't know I just came off a 7-month deployment. I don't care that they do, you know, like I'm off duty right now, I'm a civilian, I'm just hanging out. But like I see them and like that motivates me, you know, because like you remember like what you're fighting for, and like the lengths you're willing to go. Yeah,
that's beautifully said. Thank you for that.
Dude,
that's so cool. And I feel like a lot of that mindset has to do with maybe your delayed employment or deployment, just like you gave it some time to kind of mature, you know, like instead of a lot of those kids are young kids, and maybe it means more to you just giving it a little bit more time.
It does, man. Like it does mean a lot more to me, and especially like I have a little bit more of a mature mindset than like, because I think like in my platoon currently I'm like the 4th oldest out of like 40 something dudes. Okay. So like it kind of puts me up there in age, you know, and I'm not old, I'm 25, but like but like in military aspects, I guess you could consider me old, especially for like how long I've been in.
Right.
So like there's like frustrations, you know, when you see like someone that's like, you're 25 and there's a 21-year-old that outranks you, and like they're like saying some shit, like, you know, if they have good leadership traits and they're good at their job, like it doesn't matter. Yep. Like you'll listen to them and like you'll respect them, but like if they're just like power hungry, which is not the majority, but if they are power hungry and they just like they just want to hear you like, you know, say their rank and like go to parade rest and stuff, that's frustrating. But you just bite your tongue and, you know, you just realize that you'll get there. You know, like I picked up corporal on this deployment and I'm an NCO now, so like things changed a little bit for the better. So like, you know, like I just try and stay hungry. Like I always want to get to the next rank as soon as possible, but at the same time, like I want to be worthy of that rank. Like I don't want to be handed anything. I want to like put in the effort, the work. Like I want my chain of command to be like, yeah, he should be this rank, because I want, at the end of the day, it's not about me or like another individual. It's about the bigger picture, which is like how the Marine Corps properly functions. And like my job is to kind of be part of that machine a little bit and keep it running and like help new guys come in and train them up so that it can continue to run for like generations.
No, that's awesome. You don't want to be given things like free handouts or anything. That's cool. And I feel like that's how the whole military should be and should take it, where, you know, you want to feel like you deserve what you worked for. That's so cool. There's so much like honor and respect, like you were talking about, with the way you're approaching that, and I really appreciate and really respect that about you.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you. We are over an hour and a half here, so dude, we can wrap this up. I just want to again thank you so much for just spending the time with me. Like, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, sitting down with me. This is a great time. I really appreciate all the service you provided. Thank you for serving our country. And it's an honor to have you on the podcast.
Dude, it's an honor to be here, man. Like, I appreciate your support. Like, I kind of feel like a famous person right now. I throw the headphones on, talking to the microphone. Like, yeah, I watch a lot of people do this, and now I just became that person.
Yeah,
but
that's
like,
so cool.
I don't care if like one person sees this or like 10 million, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's just cool to talk about this kind of stuff, you know? Like, especially like give people insight in the military, because like,
yeah,
you see a lot of like movies or TV shows or podcasts where people talk about it, and like, I feel like podcasting is like the best form for it because it's long form, and like you get this like really experience someone else's experience, I guess, or at least hear, not experience, but hear their experience from like their service. Because like, you know, a lot of people, like, there's a lot of special operations stuff out there, which is not me, but like, you like Navy SEALs, MARSOC, like like PJs, Green Beret, Delta, like all that stuff. So like, you see that stuff and you're like, oh, that's so cool, you know, like David Goggins this, or like Jocko Willink, like all that stuff, Robert O'Neill. So like, you see those things, but like, yeah, man, like, if someone wants to be a grunt and they hear this, like, it kind of gives them a little bit of insight, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, it's super cool.
That's so cool. Yeah. I think you're definitely going to inspire some young men, and that's so cool. Not just men either, you know?
Yeah, dude, anyone, bro.
Yeah.
Like find that love, bro. At the end of the day, like, regardless of like where you stand politically, religious, any of that stuff, like, I'm very pro-America. Like, I want this country to be unified, and like, someone could be completely on the other spectrum of what I believe in, but like, I'll still go to war for them because they live in this country and we have these freedoms. We can speak about what we want, and like I said, man, agree or disagree with me, like, I'll go to war for you. That's why I'm doing this.
It's awesome. Well, God bless you. Thank you so much for your service. And listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys spending your time and tuning in for this episode. So hope you enjoyed. This is a really special one. So thank you guys all so much. And Danny, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Of course. All right, guys. See you next week.
Peace.